Did you know that nearly 70% of women don't orgasm from penetration alone? That means if you've ever felt unsure, like something's missing, it's not just you. But here's the good news. Science has shown that the right positions can make all the difference. You don't need to be younger, stronger, or more experienced. You just need to understand how female anatomy really works and how you can work with it, not against it. In this video, I'm going to show you 6 sex positions that are scientifically proven to increase clitoral blood flow, stimulate the right nerve endings, and dramatically improve her chances of reaching orgasm. These aren't wild experiments. They're backed by real research, including ultrasound imaging and 3D anatomical modeling. And most importantly, they actually work for real couples. So whether you're in your 30s, 50s, or beyond, if you're someone who cares about your partner's pleasure, this is for you. Stick around, try at least one of these tonight, and see what changes. If you've ever had questions about what really works in bed, drop a comment below. I read everyone. Got a favorite position that works for you and your partner? Let's talk about it. Your comment might help someone else. And if you're serious about improving your sex life with science, subscribe to the channel right now. We've got more real advice coming your way every week. Hi, I'm Dr. Stacy Loeb. I'm a urologist, professor, and sexual health researcher based in New York City. I've spent the past 15 years helping people, especially couples over 40, improve their quality of life, both in and out of the bedroom. Through clinical practice and published research, I've seen one thing over and over. When couples understand the science of pleasure, their intimacy transforms. It's not about gimmicks or pressure. It's about connection, communication, and knowing what actually works. So today, I want to share with you 6 sex positions that are not just popular, but scientifically shown to boost arousal and increase the chances of orgasm for women. These insights aren't based on opinion. They're based on anatomy, blood flow studies, and real-world clinical observations. Let's dive into them one by one. And remember, every couple is different. These aren't rules, they're tools. You get to choose how you use them. One of my patients once told me, "Doc, I've been married for 25 years, but I just found out my wife rarely reaches orgasm during sex." It was a moment of honesty and also frustration. But the truth is, this story isn't rare. In fact, it's more common than most people think. The reality is, this isn't about age. It's not about trying harder or lasting longer. It's about understanding how female pleasure actually works and learning what truly makes a difference. And the answer? It starts with blood flow, specifically blood flow to the clitoris. A woman's arousal and her ability to orgasm are closely tied to how much blood is flowing to that sensitive area. The more blood that reaches the clitoris, the more sensitive and responsive it becomes, leading to a much higher chance of climax. In 2022, a fascinating study was conducted using advanced 3D modeling and ultrasound imaging. Researchers wanted to measure exactly how different sexual positions affected blood flow to the clitoris. The results were eye-opening and incredibly useful. What they discovered is that certain positions significantly increase blood flow, while others barely move the needle. And for couples, especially those who've been together a long time, this insight can completely transform their intimacy. Let's start with position 1, woman on top, face to face. This is a classic position, and for very good reason. It gives the woman more control over the experience. When she's on top and facing her partner, she controls the angle, the depth of penetration, and the rhythm of movement. That alone can make a big difference because it allows her to adjust based on what feels good for her body. But what makes this position truly powerful is what happens beneath the surface. Let's move to position 2, missionary with a pillow under the hips. At first glance, this might sound like the same old traditional missionary position, but with one simple adjustment, its potential changes completely. By placing a small, soft pillow underneath the woman's hips, you create a subtle tilt in the angle of her pelvis. And that slight tilt, it changes everything. Here's what the science tells us. When the pelvis is elevated, the internal structure of the vagina shifts, allowing for deeper and more targeted contact between the penis and the upper vaginal wall, where internal parts of the clitoris and the so-called G-spot lie. But even more importantly, this shift redirects the motion and pressure downward, bringing more consistent contact to the clitoral complex from the outside. In the same 2022 study, using ultrasound and 3D modeling, this exact adjustment, just adding a pillow, significantly increased blood flow to the clitoris compared to regular missionary. And it makes sense. Think about it. When her hips are elevated, your movements press more naturally against her entire pelvic floor, not just in and out, but downward and inward, aligning with the structures that actually generate pleasure. Another bonus? This position is extremely comfortable for both partners. It allows for deep penetration, stable body positioning, and hands-free access, making it easier to kiss, caress, and stay connected without strain or awkward angles. For couples who may be older, or for anyone experiencing physical limitations like back pain or stiffness, this position provides both accessibility and effectiveness. It's one of those small changes that makes a big impact. So, if you've been sticking with the basics, just remember, a pillow isn't just for sleep. It might be the key to better sex. And once you feel how that angle improves the connection, both physically and emotionally, you may never go back to flat missionary again. Now let's talk about position 3, the coital alignment technique, often called CAT. This one is less about what it looks like and more about how it feels. At first glance, it might resemble missionary, but in practice, it's something entirely different. The core idea behind CAT is to align both partners' bodies in a way that maximizes clitoral stimulation during penetration, rather than relying on chance or random motion. Here's how it works. Instead of the usual thrusting in and out, the man positions himself slightly higher than in standard missionary. This subtle shift means that the base of the penis or the pubic bone presses directly against the woman's clitoris throughout the movement. From there, the magic happens in the motion. Rather than thrusting, both partners rock their pelvises together, a gentle, coordinated, up and down sliding movement that maintains constant rhythmic pressure on the clitoris during penetration. It's like a slow dance between two bodies, synchronized, connected, and focused on sustained pleasure rather than intensity or speed. What makes this position truly remarkable is its consistency. In regular intercourse, stimulation to the clitoris can be hit or miss. But with CAT, the pressure is intentional, targeted, and continuous. And science backs this up. In multiple clinical surveys and studies, women who previously could not reach orgasm during intercourse alone reported success after learning and practicing this technique. That's because CAT replicates what many women need most: direct stimulation to the clitoris that doesn't disappear halfway through. Yes, there's a learning curve. It's not as instinctive as other positions, and it requires communication, patience, and a willingness to slow down. But the reward? Deep physical connection, stronger emotional intimacy, and, for many women, a completely new kind of orgasmic experience. For men, especially those in their 40s, 50s, or beyond, this position is also a secret weapon. Why? Because it reduces pressure to perform with speed or endurance. Instead, it rewards rhythm, attentiveness, and control. So if you're looking for a way to transform intercourse from routine to unforgettable, CAT is worth the time it takes to learn. Because once you get it, let's move on to position 4, sitting face to face. Now, this position may not be the most physically intense or even the most stimulating in terms of raw anatomy, but what it lacks in pressure, it more than makes up for in connection. Here's how it works. Both partners sit upright, either cross-legged or with legs around each other, facing one another. The woman may sit on her partner's lap, with her legs wrapped around his waist or resting to the sides. In this position, penetration happens vertically rather than horizontally. And because of the posture, Both partners have full access to each other's upper bodies, faces, arms, and hands. There's room for touch, eye contact, kissing, and subtle communication. Every moment becomes intentional. From a physiological standpoint, the clitoral stimulation is moderate in this position. Ultrasound data shows some increase in blood flow, but not as much as we see in the top three positions. That's because gravity isn't applying direct pressure onto the clitoris, and the pelvic movement tends to be softer and less focused on friction. But that doesn't mean it's less important. In fact, for many women, especially those who struggle with performance anxiety, body image issues, or simply need more emotional intimacy to fully relax, this position can be a game changer. It allows her to feel seen, held, and engaged in a way that builds anticipation and trust. And when that trust is there, the body follows. Plus, this is a great position for incorporating external clitoral stimulation, whether with a hand, a toy, or coordinated movement between both partners. Because the bodies are so close, it's easy to explore together and adapt in real time. For men, especially in midlife and beyond, this is also a welcome change of pace. It encourages you to slow down, breathe with your partner, and experience pleasure in a deeper, more mindful way, not just physically but emotionally. So while this might not be the most orgasmic position on its own, it plays a critical role in the bigger picture, building emotional safety and shared presence, which are essential foundations for satisfying sex. Now let's talk about position 5, spooning. This is one of the most gentle, comforting, and intimate positions, and it's often underestimated. But when used intentionally, spooning can be surprisingly effective for both physical pleasure and emotional connection. In this position, both partners lie on their sides with the man behind the woman. Penetration happens from the back with bodies closely aligned, like two spoons stacked in a drawer. There's no pressure to hold your own weight, no strain on the joints, and everything moves slowly, naturally, and in sync. So why does this position work so well? From a physical standpoint, spooning allows for shallower penetration, which is ideal for stimulating the outer third of the vaginal canal, the area with the highest concentration of nerve endings. This often overlooked zone can be incredibly sensitive, and many women report increased pleasure when this area is targeted instead of going deep. Even more importantly, this position creates the perfect opportunity to combine penetration with external clitoral stimulation. Because your bodies are close, your hands are free, and your angle of access is ideal. Whether you use fingers, a vibrator, or simply coordinated movement, this combination, known as pairing, has been shown to increase orgasm likelihood by up to 70%. And let's not forget the psychological side. Spooning is non-threatening, low pressure, and deeply reassuring. It works beautifully for women who may be recovering from childbirth, menopause symptoms, or physical discomfort. It also supports emotional safety, especially in relationships where one or both partners may be rebuilding intimacy. For men, especially those over 50. And finally, we arrive at position 6, kneeling face to face. This one might not be as commonly used as some of the others, but it brings a powerful blend of physical stimulation and emotional intimacy, making it a perfect way to deepen connection while exploring pleasure in a new way. In this position, both partners kneel while facing each other, often on a soft surface like a bed or a padded mat. The woman may sit in her partner's lap or straddle him while both knees are resting on the bed. The bodies are upright, the chests are close, and the arms can wrap around each other freely, creating a posture that feels both grounded and intimate. From a physiological perspective, this position allows for good pelvic alignment and excellent access to the clitoris through either direct contact or external stimulation. Because both partners are upright, they can control the depth and rhythm more easily, using subtle movements like rocking or grinding rather than fast, forceful thrusting. This control leads to more consistent pressure on the clitoris, especially when the pubic bones are aligned and moving together. It also opens the door for hands-on exploration. Each partner can use their hands to stimulate, support, or guide. Whether it's one hand on the lower back, another on the chest, or a soft touch between the legs, this position supports full body awareness. And emotionally, it's one of the most connected positions you can try. You're not just physically close, you're face to face. You can make eye contact, breathe together, whisper, and respond to one another's cues in real time. For many couples, especially those in long term relationships, this kind of presence is more powerful than novelty. Another benefit? This position works well for couples of all ages, especially those who want to stay close while avoiding pressure on the back or wrists. It's versatile, adaptable, and easy to slow down or speed up as needed. You can even combine this with external clitoral stimulation, a hand, a toy, or mutual movement, to enhance arousal and maximize orgasm potential. So, whether you're looking to spice things up or simply want to reconnect through shared pleasure, kneeling face to face offers a balance of stimulation and intimacy that few other positions can match. Because this isn't just about positions, it's about understanding how the female body actually works and how small, thoughtful changes can lead to big improvements in pleasure, connection, and confidence. What we've seen through science is clear. The clitoris is central to female arousal, and positions that increase blood flow and provide targeted, consistent pressure offer the highest chance of orgasm. But beyond anatomy, there's something else that matters just as much: communication. Talking with your partner, exploring together, being open to slowing down, trying new things, and learning from each other. Whether you've been together 5 months or 50 years,